Welcome to our Weber Masterclass here on the little Weber Traveller. We've came to Glenariff up in County Antrim. Lovely scenery up here behind us, and what we're going to cook up today is a Moroccan-inspired lamb rack. So we're going to cook that here on the little Weber Traveller grill and show you just what we can do. Okay, so to give us the two-zone cooking here on the little Weber Traveller grill, we've got a good-sized grilled surface, but what we're going to use is these little foil trays, the roasting shields, and then the little roasting rack that sits on top of these on one side of the Traveller grill, and that gives us our two-zone cooking. We'll have our direct on the right hand side, and we're going to go with our indirect on the left hand side. We've got our lamb rack out here, and what we're going to do, we could cook this whole, and we would score the fat just on top of that when we put it on here and roast the rack the whole way through. But what we're going to do here today is cut it off into two bone sections. Once we cut it off into two bone sections, we're going to season it up. It's going to cook a little bit faster for us on here, but also means when we get that nice crust built up on both sides with the seasoning that we put on here, when we cut down the middle of it, we're going to have little lamb lollipops that we'll be able to hold and eat that way. Okay, so we have our lamb here. We're going to lift it off. What we're going to do now is just score the top of the skin, which will help us when we come to try and render the fat on top, and also help the marinade break through. So we're going to do that in a crisscross. What we're going to do here now is cut this down into the two bone sections, and they're going to end up like little mini lamb roasts, and then we're going to marinate them like this and then get them on and cook directly on the grill. So this recipe is nice, easy, straightforward. What we're going to do is go in initially with approximately a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of dried mint, good pinch of salt and pepper. Just take the zest off the lemon. Then we're going to go in with the juice of the lemon. And into that, a little bit of olive oil. Okay, so we have our little marinade all made up here. You can just see in there. Just going to transfer the lamb now into our tray, and then just top it off with some of our marinade, and then we'll rub that all over. Then just get your hands in and rub it all the way around, making sure you get a nice amount all over your lamb. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make up a nice simple flatbread recipe. It's equal portions of Greek yogurt, self-raising flour, a little pinch of salt, a little bit of olive oil, and then we'll just mix it around here by hand, get it formed into a dough, leave it aside again. Once the lamb's ready, then we'll just throw them straight onto the grill. Get into the yogurt. Nice pinch of salt. A little bit of oil, and then we'll just mix it around and combine it into a dough. Okay, so we've now got our dough all combined. We're going to leave this in the tray here, again, just uncovered. And when we come to make our flatbreads, we'll cut it in half, roll it out nice and flat, and throw it directly onto the bars. Okay, so our lamb's been nicely marinated there. We're going to pop it onto the grill here now. We're going to start it off fat side down. We're going to cook the lamb to how we like it, 60 degrees Celsius. So that's the internal temperature we're going to cook to. We're going to start off fat side down here. Hear that lovely sizzle. That smells wonderful. Just get a little bit of colour on the outside of the lamb. And once we build up that colour, we will then move across to the indirect side of the grill and finish off cooking on that side. Okay, so just give the lamb a little turn over. Start off here. And making sure we're giving it a little bit of a touch down so we're getting plenty of contact onto the bars. Okay, it's just rotating around. You can see the lovely colour we're starting to get on the top of the lamb. Okay, so we've got a nice bit of colour around the outside of the lamb, and what we're going to do now is move it across onto the rack. We're going to place it on the rack fat side down. So the reason we're placing it fat side down again is as an extra layer of protection between the bars and the top. And then what we're going to do is use the instant read thermometer just to monitor the temperature of the cooks as we're going through. We'll get to that 60 degrees Celsius, then we'll remove them, put them on a wee tray to the side, and while we're doing that, then we'll cook our flatbreads off here. Okay, so we've got our grill cleaned off here now. we're just going to go on with some of our veg that we're going to use for our couscous. So we're just going on with a little bit of tomatoes on the vine. We've got a nice pepper. And then we're going to go on with some onions. Okay, so what we're going to do now, the lamb's been on here for probably about 10 minutes. We're just going to go in now and test it and see what temperature, the internal temperature is that we're cooking at here. So I'm just going to go down through the middle, and we're looking to get the middle section of the lamb. So we're sitting there, 33 degrees, so we're still a wee bit to go yet. So the lamb's been on now for about 20 minutes. We'll just test the internal temperature of them now. 56. And 58. So we can get our flatbreads on the go. So all we've done is roll out our flatbread into a flat dough. Just going to put it straight onto the bars, and it'll cook here. So what we're looking for is it just start to bubble up on the top of the bars, directly on the grill. And once it starts to bubble up, then we'll turn it over. Okay, so we're going to lift the lamb off now and let it rest. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes now. You can see the bubbles starting to rise on top of the flatbread here, and we're just going to turn it over. Okay, so now we're going to make up our little marinade. We're going to go over the couscous. So we're going to go in with some fresh lemon juice. And we're just going to make this up in the jar here, just to make life a little bit easier for us to pour over the couscous. With 1 clove of garlic that we've just chopped up. We're going to go in with equal portions, approximately 1 teaspoon of dried mint, 1 teaspoon of dried cumin, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of paprika. We're going to go in with a good amount of the Reuter Gold rapeseed lemon oil, a little touch of red wine vinegar, and a little squeeze of honey. Put our lid back on, give it a good shake, and that's going to top off. Once we put our veg inside our couscous, we'll just pour this over the top of it and mix it through. Okay, so our flatbreads have come off the grill, and all we're going to do now is just give them a little cut. So a couple of wee triangles, and we'll add them into our bowl. Okay, so our lamb has been sitting resting with the roasted veg just in our cooler here while we've been making the flatbreads. We have our couscous here ready to go. So we prepared the couscous just in the house before we came out, so we didn't have to start boiling water here for that. So what we're going to do here now is take off some of our tomatoes. Chop up our onion nice and finely, so it's roasted and it'll be lovely and sweet. And we'll add that all into the couscous. Same with our pepper. Just going to chop it up nice and finely. We're just going to add in our couscous into our bowl. Okay, so the lamb's been off now resting for a little while. We're just going to carve them down. I'll show you a lovely pink on the inside. Perfectly cooked, nice and pink on the inside. And then we have just made up a lovely little tzatziki that will go over the top of the lamb. You can see just as it's been sliced, it's starting to blush up nicely. And of course we have a lovely crust on the outside and nice and pink on the inside, like little lamb lollipops. Okay, so we have our little tzatziki. We have our couscous with its dressing and the roasted veg. We have the lamb that's been seared off in our marinade and our little flatbreads. So we'll just go on now with a little bit of the tzatziki over the lamb. Okay, so that's our little end of our Weber masterclass with the Traveller Grill. We have our Moroccan-inspired lamb with the roasted veg couscous with our little dressing we've made up, our flatbreads, the little tzatziki, and all we have to do now is try it. Beautiful.